In this lesson, you will learn how to deal with algebraic fraction and at the same time how to know rational expression and be able to differentiate between algebraic fraction and rational expression. So be careful, one algebraic fraction is the quotient of two algebraic expressions. For example, minus 4 over x minus 2, or t over 5, or x squared over 3y cubed. However, all rational expressions are algebraic fractions, but not all algebraic fractions are rational expression. I will show you why. Okay, imagine you have this algebraic fraction. So I will give you 3x over x. This is not same as 3. In reality, like if you want to deal with this as a rational expression, it is same. But as algebraic fraction, it is not same. Why? Because in this first one, we are not allowed to have our unknown x equal to 0 at all. But for the other one, I don't care. If x is 0 or x is anything, it does not affect my relation. Okay, so let's us deal with the permissible value, because the permissible value are actually the main point that differentiates between algebraic fraction and a rational expression. So for the first question, for the first one, this one, we need to know what are the permissible value. So my downside of my fraction, of my algebraic fraction, I am not allowed to have 0 there. So 4s r squared should be different than 0. And this means that I know 4 is different than 0, so I would just get rid of it. This means that s r squared should be different than 0, which means s should be different than 0 or r different than 0, one of them. In this case, I satisfy the non-permissible value. So I'm not allowed to have my s is equal to 0, and I am not allowed to have my r equal to 0. For the second question, for the second one, this one, the permissible value r. You can see here, I can go ahead from the beginning and cross out my x, because I have it in the denominator and the numerator, so I can just cross it out. But no, I am not allowed to do that until I figure out what are my non-permissible value. So my first non-permissible value here, x times 2x minus 3 should be different than 0, which means x should be different than 0 or 2x minus 3 different than 0, and this tells me that x should be different than 3 over 2. So my non-permissible value are x should not be equal to 0 and x should not be equal to 3 over 2. However, if I cross out my x from the beginning, I am crossing out the value that x should be equal to 0, should not be equal to 0, which means I am changing my fraction, or I'm changing my algebraic fraction. For the third question, this one, So p square minus p minus 12 should be different than 0. So I need to factorize my equation so I can solve it. What are two numbers? If I multiply them, I will get minus 12, and if I add them, I will get minus 1. So these two numbers are minus 4 and 3. So minus 4 and 3. So my equation will become p minus 4 times p plus 3, which mean my p should be different than 4 or p different than minus 3. Now let's do some examples to simplify rational expression and to state the non-permissible value. Okay, the first thing we have to deal with it is the downside of the quotient. So 2x squared plus x minus 10 is equal to something. So I need to find two numbers that if I multiply them, I will get this one times 2. And if I add them, it will be equal to this one. So this will be minus 20, and if I add them, it will give me 1. So these two numbers can be 5 and minus 4, 5 minus 4. So my equation can be written as this. I can write my equation as 2x squared minus 4x plus 5x minus 10, which is equal to 2x times x minus 2 plus 5 times x minus 2, and I will factorize by x minus 2 times 2x plus 5. So now I can substitute this value in my first downside of my equation and see if I can simplify it. So this equation now will be equal to, so a is equal to 3x minus 6 over x minus 2 times 2x plus 5. And this is same as if I factorize by 3, it will give me x minus 2 over x minus 2 times 2x plus 5. So now I can cross out my x minus 2 from the top and the bottom, and I will end up with 3 over 2x plus 5. I just simplify my equation. Now I have to see what are the non-permissible value. Same thing, I will go back to my factorized equation, and from there I can find my non-permissible value. So this should be different than 0, which means x minus 2 times 2x plus 5 should be different than 0, which means that x should be different than 2, or x should be different than minus 5 over 2. You can see here from this part I have two non-permissible value, but if I deal with the simplified portion of my equation, I will have just one non-permissible value. So always the non-permissible value should be from the original equation, and especially from the downside of your quotient.